Now we'll go into the James best performing asset and worst performing asset for 2026.
I'm again. I'm not. I don't have macro marks intel, but I'm going to play it safe with Bitcoin. It'll probably outperform most. I think for an asset class that I'm hearing a fair bit about at the moment from here in Australia too, for some pretty heavy hitting real estate guys, is the mid tier commercial property sector, office space and whatnot. I think that's going to be the people are going to have their pants pulled down with that. Seeing a lot of debt, we're going to refinance that debt. You got interest rate rises if they're levered into it, and not a lot of return. So whether that sector gets hollowed out or not, and they work from home, whether they're coming back or not, that's debatable. But that sector's been REITs been suffering for some time, I think. So
my uncle's got a cleaning and facility services business, and so he'd be the first to know. And he couldn't agree more that asset class is fucked.
Yeah. So that's a technical term from Trader Mark.
How about you, Raf?
Man, honestly, my best performing asset was just going to be Bitcoin. I think it's like a safe bet because it's still like dropping. And we just know the movements, like especially again, the second half of the year when we start seeing that moving. Counterbalance that, I think the worst performing asset, just because it's at all-time peaks, it was kind of a two-way draw of like the S&P as a whole or gold, because it's just peak. Like people are like going into it's like, this is the best time. And I just, man, like every time it's an absolute peaks like this, and I could be wrong. I mean, Mark could just like school me right now on this, but like from my perspective, I'm just thinking, I don't see the room for gold. Like it's like all-time highs. I just think from where it is right now towards the end of the year, I think that would probably be the worst performing. And those would be the two counterbalances. But Mark, happy to be schooled, brother. What do you think?
I'm gonna listen. I'm not shy to put my receipts out there when it comes to Bitcoin, but I'm gonna hedge my bets because I'm leaning towards Bitcoin bottoming out towards the end of the year, and so I'm gonna say over 2026, 2027, or middle to end, over 2026, 2027, Bitcoin destroys every single asset class, followed by gold and copper. I'll also go as far as saying I think gold doubles in the not too distant future. I think by 2030 we'll probably see $15,000, $20,000 gold. So I don't think gold is it, and to your credit, it will probably have a 50% correction over that time. Like if you go back and look in the 1970s, it went from like 30 to 200 and then corrected 50% and went up to 800 or something like that, right? So there'll be some volatility. But yeah, I think Bitcoin, gold, copper, and I think the worst performing asset will be bonds. So government debt.
Cool.
Fair.
Love
that.
You heard it first here.
I still think best performing assets. Yes, I can say Bitcoin because I believe in that as well. But I still think two things: manufactured growth through real estate in Australia is very, very hard to beat with leverage. And overseas investment real estate, like places like Dubai, and there's a reason for it. What's happening in Dubai is if you build it, they will come. That's what's happening, right? And they're incentivizing people to go there. And if you actually research what's happening there, it is ridiculous, the things that are the infrastructure that's being built there. With Australia, it's a little bit different. With Australia, if you don't build it, they will still come. And that's the issue that we're having here. It's opposite. We're not building enough and they're still coming. So basic supply and demand. Dubai, lazy money. I think you can still make money there, right? Not manufactured equity. You're not going to go there and develop and split blocks. I'm talking just place money. Here, if you actually want to get your hands dirty and actually manufacture some equity by doing a splitter block or a subdivision or doing 1 into 2, I think that's still very hard to beat. And we were on with, one of the heaviest, educated property insight guys this morning who's going to be at the event on March 7th and 8th. And he's a data-driven guy, and he's basically saying something very, very similar.
You know what's crazy just on that is like when we were first thinking about coming to Dubai, it was like in middle of 2024. We came to visit to kind of like set things up and whatnot. Anyways, we ended up landing back in Brizzy, and our Uber driver, and I kid you not, I cannot make this stuff up. Our Uber driver picked us up and he was like, "Oh, you know, where were you traveling to? You know, is this home base?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're thinking about moving to Dubai and whatnot." And he's like, "Oh, that's interesting. I have a property in Dubai. I've had that for the last 3 years." And I was like, "Well, how does that work?" He's like, "Well, that pays for my day-to-day life. And I just do Uber on the side just for some extra cash." And it just blew my mind that I'm thinking about moving here. I came back to Brizzy and my Uber driver already has a property there. So
Yeah.
people are already doing this in Australia and they don't publicize it. I just thought that was crazy. So I see what you mean by like setting in, letting it
And we're
grow.
talking specifically about Dubai, but there's other international countries that you can do this type of investment in that we've been doing research on, that are going like, unless you're manufacturing growth here in Australia, if you want lazy money, I'd be putting it